Alright, my friends, we're going to try and get back into some sort of shape on the review channel here. Of course, we're going through the old stuff on here. I've kind of lost all faith in most of the new stuff these days. We will get to that at some point in the channel. But we went through season 1 and season 2 of the Transformers. And of course, we're going to have to hit Transformers the movie now. So, a little talk about this one. Not a lot to say about it. This is where it all started to go wrong for the Transformers franchise in that original run. Hasbro started Transformers as pretty much the series is nothing more to Hasbro than a 20 to 25 minute toy advertisement. So in their mind, they had reached a point in the run of their toys where they wanted to bring in a new phase in the toy line. So they decided to put out Transformers the movie. Now, if you break down Transformers the movie and what happens in it, essentially what you get is Star Wars A New Hope. If you've seen Star Wars A New Hope, essentially Transformers the movie is pretty much that story. You've got the, like in Star Wars, you have the Death Star. And Transformers here, you have a giant Transformer-sized planet called Unicron, which they have to destroy before the end of the movie. So they just looking back on it, we were all devastated whenever this happened. Nobody was expecting what they were going to do in this movie, and for a lot of us as kids back then that didn't actually get to the cinema to check out this movie, I can't recall if it was even shown where I grew up at here in Northern Ireland. But if you were a fan of the show and you were watching it through season 1 and 2 and you didn't get to see the movie when it was in the cinema, then season 3 of the cartoon hit. There's a massive disconnect because they swap everything up between season 3 and 4 with this movie. So that's where the mistake happened. They didn't know just how popular the characters from season 1 and 2 were, the originals. Optimus Prime, Megatron, everybody. So essentially what they were going to do is we were going to get and kill off the original characters to bring in a new set of characters. Now the movie itself is great, entertaining, but when Optimus Prime goes down in the first major fight in the movie, we were all devastated. And I will not lie to you, me even now as a 45-year-old man that has seen this movie countless times, that death sequence still brings a lump to my throat. And I recall the first time I discovered what was going to happen in the movie. Anybody of my age will know what these are. Back in the day, they used to have these books that you could get, and I, as a kid, had a little bit of trouble reading, and even to this day, I'm not a fast reader. But there's these books you used to get back in the day where you would get a cassette tape with it, and you would stick a cassette tape in, and there would be a narrator on the tape reading the story within these books, and you just sat there and you read through the book along with the radio. It helped great for anybody that was just having a bit of trouble getting going. Now, whenever this movie came out, 86, I was wasn't that old, like 6, 7, whatever it was, and of course had my head around reading at this stage, but still loved these sort of books and whatnot. And then if you had the ones that was based on the Transformers, you were going to get them. So I actually got the book on tape of Transformers the movie. That's where I got my heart broken for the first time ever whenever you found out what happened to Optimus Prime. So we got it. I can still recall the day clear, and we were actually about 40 minutes from where I lived at, in a town called Coleraine. Got it there. My dad stuck the tape on. I was sitting in the back seat, and he was listening along and whatnot. You could see him, like the wheels turning and whatnot, and every once in a while you would see him looking into the mirror. And then of course, little Rodney in the back seat, tears started, and my dad was absolutely he was so angry. Like he was going to take the tape out, chuck it at that point, and I actually had to beg him. I was like, "Don't throw it away. I want to know how this finishes and whatnot." So yeah, I was heartbroken. He was angry, and if there was no internet back then, but the internet would have crashed completely if that was about, because the amount of complaints that Hasbro got for the death of Optimus Prime, unbelievable. And something that they never learned from, like a lot of the shows since then, the character of Optimus Prime tends to die quite a lot through the franchise, even in new versions of it. So, yeah. Anyway, the movie, the Decepticons attack Autobot City on Earth. Optimus Prime and the Autobots fight with them. He's critically injured in the fight. Megatron's almost destroyed as well. And he dies. Starscream tries to take over the leadership of the Decepticons. On the way back to Cybertron, Astro Train, who's carrying all the Decepticons, needs to lose a bit of weight or he's not going to make it there. The Decepticons are too heavy for him, so they're all chucked out. This is when Unicron comes into the story properly. You see him destroying a planet at the opening of the movie. He rebuilds Megatron as Galvatron. The rest of the Decepticons, he resurrects a new body. So Megatron and everybody that dies in the Decepticon side gets new bodies and sent off to fight another day, where all the Autobots that die in this movie stay dead, essentially. So the fans were raging about that too. All your heroes are dead. All the villains get updates. That is what it is. So Unicron tells Megatron, or Galvatron, sorry, voiced by Leonard Nimoy, by the way, fantastic. He has to destroy the Autobot Matrix leadership that Optimus Prime passed to Ultra Magnus. I kind of just bounced over the big kick in the teeth in this movie as the Hot Rod character, who everybody's blamed for the death of Optimus Prime. There's a critical point in the fight between Optimus Prime and Megatron. Hot Rod got in the middle of it. Optimus couldn't take the kill shot, and Megatron got the upper hand on him. So we blamed him back then. We're still blaming him today. It is what it is. So the Matrix was given to Ultra Magnus at this point to take over leadership of the Autobots. So of course the Decepticons turn up under the control of Galvatron to take on the Autobots again. At this point, Moonbase 1 on Cybertron has been attacked by Unicron, so the Autobots escape and head off to try and save their home planet from this giant transformer-sized planet-killing machine. On the way there, they end up meeting up with the Junkions, another offshoot of the Autobots, more new characters. Hot Rod and Cup, along with the Dinobots in a separate starship, crash land on a planet and come across the Quintessons, which in the movie, again, whole pile of new characters. In the movie, I thought to myself, okay, Quintessons, interesting idea. You've got these transformers that transform into sharks, Sharkticons, and the Quintessons that rule them are these creatures with like tentacles and 5 heads, and you think to yourself, okay, fairly interesting. You know, they pick up victims that stray onto their planet, put them on trial. Doesn't matter if they come to a decision of guilty or innocent, they're just going to feed them to the Sharkticons anyway. So I thought to myself, okay, right, that's it for this movie. Mightn't see them again. And frankly, I kind of wish we didn't see them again. But that's the end of it for this movie. The Dinobots eventually rescue Hot Rod and Cup with the help of this little transformer called Wheelie. Yet again, another new character. And they all head off towards Cybertron to try and defeat this planet killer. On the Junkion planet, Ultra Magnus is blown to pieces, and I was thinking, okay, right, Prime's down, new leader, he doesn't have the Matrix. 2 hours until Galvatron turns up again, and they basically execute him. The Junkions, after Galvatron gets the Matrix of Leadership from Ultra Magnus, clears off the planet, they basically rebuild him on the spot. Now, in this, when they execute Ultra Magnus in this movie, like, he explodes, and it's not as brutal as the original planned death for Ultra Magnus was. Actually, not that long ago, I looked it up. They were actually going to quarter him in the movie. So yeah, basically using laser, like, you can see it in the movie whenever the Decepticons start to fire on him. It's different this time. It's not just the usual laser blast. It's like a concentrated laser blast this time. And these laser blasts out of these 4 Decepticons were supposed to lasso him around the arms and legs and rip him apart. So they fought. At that point, Hasbro decided that's a little bit too graphic for the kids. We shouldn't do that. And so I was just thinking to myself, okay, if that was too graphic and you made this movie, you decided to kill every character we ever cared about, especially Optimus Prime, I think we could have dealt with that after everything else we've been through. But the Junkions rebuild him on the spot, good as new. Optimus Prime and the rest of the characters stay dead. So yeah, in this original run, this was the first time we meet Ultra Magnus, so we don't have that personal connection to him at this point, and you didn't really give a damn whether he lived or not, really. But Galvatron heads off to Unicron. Unicron's able to get into his head, essentially. Galvatron belongs to Unicron. So, like, he can torment Galvatron at any point if he tries to, not do what he's told to do. Unicron will appear, and his head, you see all these flashing red lights around him, tormenting him, and he's in pain and whatnot. So Galvatron shows up on the surface of Unicron, threatens him with the Matrix. You'll do my bidding, or you'll taste my wrath, sort of a thing. To which Unicron responds, at one point, I was going to spare Cybertron, but now you're going to witness its dismemberment. At that point, he transforms into a giant transformer, starts ripping Unicron to shreds, or Cybertron to shreds, I should say. The massive fight begins at the end of the movie. A lot of stuff I'm leaving out here, by the way. But towards the end of the movie, Hot Rod and the Dinobots Cup, Ultra Magnus, everybody's fighting for their life. Inside Unicron, they crash land into his head at one point. Ship goes out of control, they get through his eye. He's huge, planet-sized transformer. So a lot of the end battle happens within Unicron. Hot Rod winds up head to head with Galvatron. Galvatron has the Matrix hanging around his neck in a chain. They fight, and at one point, Hot Rod manages to get the Matrix off Galvatron, at which point you hear the voice of Optimus Prime saying, "Arise, Rodimus Prime." So there was a thing throughout the movie. When Prime died, he says, "One day an Autobot will rise from our ranks and use the power of the Matrix to light our darkest hour." So this is the moment, this is the darkest hour, where the Matrix has chosen Hot Rod to become the new leader of the Autobots. He's transformed in size, he gets a new alternate form, new name, Rodimus Prime, and defeats I keep going to say Megatron because he's just a better character. There you go, I said it. I don't care what anybody says. Galvatron, a lot cooler in design and what he can do and whatnot, but we'll get into it whenever we get to the season 3 episodes. I'm not going to destroy it now. For me, the better villain out of the two, even though it's technically the same character, was Megatron. I'm always going to believe that to my dying day. Rodimus Prime defeats Galvatron, opens the Matrix or leadership, and this tears Unicron's body apart, and all that's left him at the end of the movie is his head, you know, in orbit around Cybertron. And the movie closes out with Rodimus Prime giving the speech that the Cybertron wars have ended, and we're marching forward to a new age of peace and happiness. And we close out there. I'm trying to recall. There's now. I didn't see it in the cinema, but I think there's a voiceover at the end of the movie. I haven't watched it in years at this point, but the backlash to the death of Optimus Prime, I think there's a voiceover now on the end of the Transformers the movie where it says, the greatest Autobot of them all, Optimus Prime, will return or something at some point, which he does in a very, very wrong, bad way. So I'm not sure, honestly, hand and heart, love the Transformers, can't get enough of them, but there's some, like, I'm just a fan, I'm not the sort of person that gets in there to the real nooks and crannies of a franchise. I just love entertainment and whatnot, and Transformers is a childhood one for me. So, and plus the fact that I've never seen it in the cinema, so I don't know what the original cut of the movie properly was. Did they even say at the end of the movie, with that voiceover, the greatest Autobot in them all, Optimus Prime will return, or did that happen because of the backlash for Optimus Prime being killed? But as we get through season 3, they do bring him back in the worst possible way ever. So if you're interested in hearing that review, yeah, stick with the channel for the next couple of months anyway. Should get us there. Unless I fall off the wagon again, then it could take another 10 years for us to get there. But I intend to put out as many videos as I can over the next 6 months. I've missed doing the reviews on this channel. So hopefully we'll see you on here again very, very soon. Till the next one, stay safe. I'll talk to you all then.